Hey, welcome to Ambitious Black Girl, the podcast. On this podcast, I dive deep and choose to be vulnerable about experiences I've had while I journey through life. As an ambitious Black woman, I feel it's my purpose to use my voice to celebrate, liberate, and educate myself and others. From time to time, I'll invite friends and family to join me on topics ranging from race, mental health, self-care, and so much more. So for now, take a deep breath in, exhale, and join me in thoughtful conversation. This is Ambitious Black Girl, the podcast. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ambitious Black Girl, the podcast. I'm your host, Tatiana Donaldson, educator and self-advocacy enthusiast, and it truly brings me joy and enthusiasm to be sitting here in sanctuary with our community and sisterhood. To anyone that is tuning into ABG, the podcast, for the first time, welcome and thank you for sharing space with us today. You could be anywhere and you're here with us, so thank you. And for everyone that has been rocking with us since the launch and relaunch of ABG, I just want you to know that you are truly appreciated and we're so thankful for you. You know, it's so beautiful how I'm beginning to experience such a profound gratitude for our community. ABG is encouraging me to amplify my voice in a way that is organic to myself while joining phenomenal Black women in encouraging and sharing our unique journeys. Each and every time I sit down with myself to be present with our community, I think about how I'm no longer navigating alone, but instead with the energy of my ancestors and the many ambitious Black girls and women who are too on their marathon. Our community and sisterhood is global, y'all, and I'm loving all of the love and support. So again, thank you. And I just want to share that I don't take y'all for granted, and I'm so thankful and grateful. On this episode, I will shed light on the Ambitious Black Girl Book Club and our October book select, Ain't I a Woman by Bell Hooks. I'll recap my first month as an educator in the classroom abroad and what my experience has been like as I journey with the support of therapy and wellness. And lastly, I will dive into some goals and thoughts that I am choosing to give energy to as we enter the last quarter of 2020, which is crazy to even think about, that we'll be soon entering 2021. So without further ado, I present to you Ambitious Black Girl, the podcast, episode 9. Okay, so let's begin with life in the classroom. As I briefly mentioned in episode 8 of Ambitious Black Girl, the podcast, I have begun my education career and recently celebrated 1 month teaching abroad. This is my first year educating and one of the main reasons for my relocation from the United States to Phnom Penh, Cambodia. And I must say I am living a long-awaited goal and vision that I've had since I was in elementary school. And after nearly 8 months of living abroad, experiencing the pandemics of 2020, and being unemployed, I must say I'm proud of myself and I've been doing my best to celebrate my journey. Live in these moments and simply be present. The list goes on, but to name a few of the emotions I've experienced this month would include being optimistic, joyful, frustrated, criticized, brave, motivated, focused, and inspired. And speaking of inspiration, school is definitely inspiring me to create a plan and get it done. To be honest, I'm enjoying the level of discipline that is required in and out of the classroom. I am no stranger to procrastination, so it's refreshing to have a bit of structure, especially after this year. Teaching is hard, and I've begun giving myself space, especially when things don't go as planned. I think it's important that I follow my instincts and do what is ultimately best for my students and for myself. So usually I take a deep breath and permit myself to start over, even if it's mid-lesson. I'm learning how to efficiently and effectively lesson plan and classroom manage, as well as how to be my authentic self. Mid-month was probably the most difficult for me, as I was in a heightened emotional state following the Breonna Taylor verdict. It was tough navigating being the only Black woman at school. I wasn't feeling heard and supported emotionally, and while there is only so much support one can receive at school, it was especially difficult because I felt there was absolutely no one I could go to express my frustration and hurt. I felt I had to keep going, and as much as I really wanted to find a space to recoil, I felt very obligated, knowing it was my first few weeks in my new role as educator, to be present in the classroom. It was hard to stand in front of my classes with a smile, as if I was not hurting inside, and it was even more difficult to look my administrators and coworkers in the eye without feeling unwanted and undervalued. And it was hard to want to be in spaces that felt were just not for me. In those moments, all I wanted to do was cry. I wanted to be held. I wanted to be told my beautiful Black life mattered and that I was supported. You see, this Black woman shows up and shows out on a regular basis. This Black woman is aware that she puts in triple the amount of effort and attention than most of her counterparts. This Black woman is passionate, ambitious, and loving, and wants the recognition and justice she deserves. To add to my pre-existing hurt, I was surprised to find out the next day that my schedule had been completely changed. The class I had been teaching for the first 3 weeks of school was being swapped out for an entirely new one. This was a low blow for sure, as I was emotionally and mentally invested in my class. And it was beginning to feel as if my class was reciprocating that energy back onto me. My students' eyes would light up the moment I stepped into class. I knew by far the energy our class held together was unmatched, and truthfully, it crippled me to know that I would have to walk in before them and share the news that their teacher Tatiana, would no longer be teaching them. The feeling was mutual. My class was confused and saddened. To this day, my students will ask why I have not been in class and what's taking me so long to come to class. As I said earlier, teaching is tough. This has been one of the realest lessons I have experienced, period. And as challenging as it may be, it is also so very rewarding, and I'm here to affirm that I will not give up. Our future needs passionate and loving educators. I will continue to center my efforts on my students while giving them the gift of my patience and time. I feel like I'm beginning to get what parents mean when they say their children have changed them for the better, because my students are doing that for me. Their level of fearlessness, attention, love, affection, and honesty is admirable, and they definitely help me to be a better human. I will continue to empower myself so that I can help empower them, and I'm excited to journey with them this year and grow, and I'm blessed to be in the classroom. I can't pour from a cup that is half full, y'all. And I'm definitely not one for neglecting myself. So as I shared in the previous episode, I have begun therapy. I'm also exploring ways to prioritize my mental health and well-being, as well as seek mentorship. So as of today, I have now had 2 virtual sessions with a therapist who specializes in social justice counseling, somatic psychotherapy, and mindfulness-based psychotherapy. As I quote her, social justice counseling is rooted in an awareness of the dynamics of power, privilege, and oppression, and somatic therapy is a body-centered therapeutic modality which seeks to actively engage the client in both verbal and nonverbal processes, paying equal attention to what the body is saying as to spoken words. She continues to say, by listening closely to our bodies, we can access stored information and consequently release old wounds and patterns of behavior and support bodily releases from the imprint of oppression. I must say, it feels good to invite therapy in my life, and I'm beginning to realize that there is no right or wrong way to show up to each session. Between my therapist and I, we do our best to simply be and engage with each other. It's an exchange of emotions, truth, listening, and advice, and it's a way for me to express myself with guidance and support. I'm 2 sessions in, but I will say it feels as though therapy is supporting me and validating my truth and experiences. Mentally, I sense a positive shift towards asserting myself and accepting accountability and vulnerability. I'm choosing to accept the good, bad, and ugly that therapy evokes. I mean, after all, I'm on a self-reformation journey, and my goal is to heal my past related to generational, racial, and sexism traumas. For an hour, it's only me and my therapist, a privilege I don't take for granted, as it has been a struggle to access space to be with my thoughts. Therapy is new for me, and I'm excited to continue exploring and sharing feedback as I journey. Now, there's no therapy without wellness. I would even go as far as to say that choosing to place wellness at the forefront is why therapy is happening for me. And I want to be clear that, whereas I am choosing to invest in wellness and mental health because I want to, wellness for this Black woman's body is a choice of life and death. In an article titled, The Importance of Black Spaces in Wellness, Natasha Jones, co-founder and chief content officer for Run Girl, a digital media and event platform providing information, inspiration, and celebration for Black women distance runners, states, long-standing health disparities have been on glaring display during the recent coronavirus pandemic, leaving Black people particularly vulnerable. Recent data from APM Research Labs shows the rate of death for Black Americans from COVID-19 is 2.4 times higher than white people and 2.2 times the death rate of Asians and Latinxes. This is largely due to the social determinants of health that many Black people face, including where we live and work and the quality of health care to which we have access. She goes on to say, as if that weren't scary enough, current worldwide protests around racism and police brutality are highlighting the deadly threats Black people face during simple things like jogging, Ahmaud Arbery, sleeping, Breonna Taylor, or shopping, George Floyd. As the world debates the value of Black lives and Black bodies, the ideas of wellness and self-care take on an even more important role. Lena Waithe said it beautifully. To be Black is beautiful, but it is also traumatizing. Trauma isn't new for me, and over the years I've found healthy coping mechanisms that support my wellness and bring me joy. I am truly doing my best to remind myself that joy is God-given and deeply embedded in me and can be accessed at any given moment, so as I choose. Just saying that brings me to think of the conviction and blind faith that I hold close. I'm leveling up mentally, emotionally, and physically, and when I say, if you believe it, you can achieve it, you truly can. I'm a living testimony to the wonders that are available to us, despite the adversities that we may face. Ways that I am currently accessing joy are through storytelling, meditation, music, prayer, writing, celebrating our Blackness, educating myself and others, reading, being in nature, and dancing. I have a purpose and a plan, and I affirm to value my light. Self-preservation and peace of mind is key. So, in what ways are you choosing to let your light shine and live in joy? Joy can be holding space for a moment in my day to listen to an audiobook, which brings me to my next topic, Ambitious Black Girl, the book club. Truthfully, launching our digital book club is a healthy way to remind myself of the love and joy I receive from reading. Reading can be fun and enticing, and as the phenomenal Oprah says, reading opens you up. It exposes you and gives you access to anything your mind can hold. It gives you the ability to reach higher ground and keep climbing. Our book club is my way of gently holding myself accountable to continue growing and expanding my perspective. And it brings me so much joy to present Ain't I a Woman by Bell Hooks as our October book select. This book examines the impact of sexism on Black women during slavery, the historic devaluation of Black womanhood, Black male sexism, racism within the recent women's movement, and Black women's involvement with feminism. What a time to dive into this gem, as there are many takeaways that apply to the current racial and sex-based inequalities that we face today as a community, sisterhood, and nation. This is an open invitation to anyone that is looking to educate themselves on the many ways society and people have impacted Black women and the numerous ways Black women have and continue to impact society. Feel free to DM Ambitious Black Girl's Instagram if you are interested in joining our weekly Zoom discussions, as our website is currently undergoing renovation. I hope you find joy, revelation, and understanding in reading this book. In closing, I stand by the saying, it takes a village. So we're going to begin sharing the people, places, and things that fuel our ambition, beginning with Black women. Along with creating sanctuary, visibility, and awareness for Black women, the Ambitious Black Girl mission is to celebrate, liberate, and educate, and we intend to do just that. Every episode moving forward, I'm going to celebrate, honor, and give love to phenomenal, ambitious Black women who encourage and inspire me to move forward and step into my greatness on a daily basis. Celebrations will also be reflected on our ABG social pages, so feel free to check out our Facebook and Instagram at The Ambitious Black Girl. So this episode, I want to celebrate and extend my gratitude to Deidre Fogarty, entrepreneur, activist, and founder of At Black Girls Teach, an educational consultant driven in amplifying Black women educators, advocacy, empowerment, and collective self-care. Thank you for your endless support and advice as I walk in faith and navigate my first year educating in the classroom. It feels good to have support from an online platform that is for us and by us. So thank you. And a special thank you to Natasha Jones for the article, The Importance of Black Spaces in Wellness, and the phenomenal team at Run Girl, a digital media and event platform for Black women that uses running as a vehicle to impact wellness in our community. By thoughtfully curating content and events that share our voices, they are changing the existing narrative on what it means to be a runner. Wow, this has been a beautiful episode. It really feels good to share my journey with our community, and thank you for listening in. So I leave you with this thought in mind. In what ways are you deliberately choosing to affirm and support yourself so that you can affirm and support others? I truly pray that something in this episode proves to be aspirational and affirmative for you, and I pray that as you continue to journey, you experience moments of wellness, support, self-love, and purpose. I love you all and look forward to our next check-in. Until then, keep going, keep growing, and keep knowing. because the marathon continues. Thank you for tuning in to Ambitious Black Girl, the podcast.